Hey there. So it's been a couple of days since I recorded anything. So really, I'm on day 16 of eating keto. It's actually been about a month, but I'm only going to count the days that I actually succeeded at getting more than 90% of my calories from fat and protein. Last weekend, I was in California, and this past weekend, I was at a Metallica concert. Oh, so, you know, not great opportunities for eating keto. So I haven't really lost weight yet. I'm maintaining at about 255. But I'm okay with this. I think one of the things that I'm trying to do differently with this keto journey is not to spend a whole lot of time thinking about weight loss as the sole goal. When weight loss has been my main goal, I've gotten frustrated when the scale wasn't going the way I wanted it to. And frankly, I quit or just do something that isn't sustainable. And I don't want to do that anymore. I'm a high school teacher, and one of the things that annoys me with my students is when they get so focused on the grade on their test as opposed to what they actually learned. I don't blame them because, they're kids, but I'm kind of doing the same thing when all I do is think about the scale. So right now, I really want to think about this as more than just what's going on in my abdominal area. And I'd like to focus on all the other improvements that I'm seeing as I've been doing this, even as imperfectly as I have been. In some ways, I think these are going to be more important because they're more motivating than just actual number on a scale. So I'd say there's really three things that I've been developing, improving, and growing in physically and mentally that I'd like to share. You know, Number one, obviously, this is a little bit incidental, but I'm learning how to use YouTube. Besides just watching a whole lot of stuff, I'm actually trying to actively engage in this form of communication and documenting my journey. I'm giving myself the permission and the conditions to do something that I've wanted to do for a while. So in that sense, I'm killing two birds with one stone. This forces me to be accountable, to document what's going on. And at the same time, as I'm learning how to do that, it's forcing me to learn skills that I wouldn't learn on my own. You know, Obviously, it's very imperfect and very slow and not great, but I just made my first thumbnail. And honestly, I've been using YouTube for 15 years, but I don't think I had actually heard the term thumbnail before this. In terms of figuring out, okay, well, how do I start filming? So that's not the direct result of going on keto, but indirectly it is. If I wasn't trying to do keto, then I wouldn't have come up with a reason to document this, which means I wouldn't be learning these things. So I can say that yes, keto is in a way making me smarter and increasing my skills bit by bit. I'd say actually these are not in any order, but probably the single most important thing that I can get out of this is the fact that I'm getting out of my carb addiction. Honestly, over the last few months, I was kind of mainlining carbs. At work, I had been eating carbs that I didn't particularly enjoy. My school has a cafeteria and the food was free, and I'd bring food home. Like, oh, let's take the cookies home. I didn't particularly love them, and I definitely felt crappy after eating them, but I couldn't stop eating. And I'd say honestly the worst is nighttime. Like after the kids are in bed, all my body wants to do is sort of sit there and it's time for my 10 o'clock late night. In college we'd have the cafeteria would be open again from 9 to 11:30, so everyone could binge on junk. That's essentially my body wanted late night, so that's what I was giving it. And the difference is, in college when I ate that stuff, it was great. Now I get acid reflux, and if you've never had acid reflux, I am incredibly jealous of you. I'd say, it's among the most unpleasant parts of middle age that I've experienced so far. And so, since I resumed keto, I went from having acid reflux once a week to, I don't know, once or twice in this whole month. So it's a humongous improvement. Yeah, and overall, my body feels better. My joints are a lot less achy. My ankles in the morning are usually snap, crackle, pop, kind of. But right now they're popping significantly less. My morning breath is less terrible. I've got a whole lot less gas, I teach biology, and so, I talk about the Krebs cycle and the citric acid cycle and all of that. And my recollection of all of the steps of the cycle are hazy, but one thing I do recall is that overall, for most people, we more completely metabolize lipids than we metabolize carbohydrates, because fat has more energy per gram. It can be more efficiently extracted and utilized. And so, on a practical level, that means that there's less waste metabolites that your body needs to process. So which makes sense. So part of why people get gassy on high vegetable diets is because their bodies are processing all of these, trying to break down starches, which are producing all of these other unwanted metabolites that are just not present when you're eating mostly fat. Yeah. I guess if I could say there's a real takeaway from all of this is that I really need to, or want to, focus on the process over the outcome. I don't remember where I heard this, but I like this idea that your good fortune is not something that is what you have sought out. It is the outcome of doing things correctly. So, I guess in the fairest world, the people who become financially the most successful are the ones who make good choices and who produce the most value. So in that sense, financial wealth is not so much the outcome, but that is the byproduct of doing things that help other people. I know that that's not always the case, but I like the idea that if, rather than trying to pursue, an amazing aesthetic physique, that amazing aesthetic physique is the result of making the good choices. And I do believe that this, for me, is the best set of choices in terms of how successfully I generally follow it. So I think overall, when I focus on these other things, as opposed to focusing exclusively on the scale, then my outcomes will be better and my mood will be better, and I'll enjoy this a whole lot more. So that is it on my end. Thank you for listening, and I really do appreciate the idea that other people might be getting some value out of this. And I like the idea that as I get better at communicating this stuff, that there will be, as a consequence, there will be more people who will get more out of this from me. So, if anyone has any feedback, thoughts, or kudos, I'd love to hear from you. No worries if not. Thank you, and have a good one.